Good morning, Dragon Squad, and welcome to Monday. Welcome to a new week, hopefully one that will be fantastic. And based on my search of stories and what I've put together for this first show, I think we might have a little bit of fun. Not everything is fun, it's America and it's politics, but I've got some stuff that I think might be a little bit enjoyable. And I'm very glad that I'm going to be joined, as always, by Francesca Fiorentini to walk through the news. Excited that you're here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you to the, at least as of what I'm seeing, the very large percentage of you that have hit the like button. But we still haven't ever reached what should be a glorious day someday where we hit 1,000 likes before the stream even starts. It just hasn't happened. They say it couldn't be done. They say perhaps it should not be done, that we should not dig too greedily and too deep for likes. But I don't know, let's try and let's see if we can get some sort of algorithmic Balrog released into the world. Anyway, thank you for being here. Wayne says, Happy Monday, Dragons. Let's get to 1K likes before John signs on. Hey, I'm trying, John. Really? No, Wayne is. Wayne is one of the good ones. But unfortunately, we haven't done it. Although we are getting very close, actually, as I'm saying this. So thank you to all of you for being here. I've got a hair on my face. Yes, so I have got this shirt, which I think I can show. I'm not even 100% sure if I'm supposed to, but this is the Anti-Vaxxer Club. I'm one of the founding members, and very much enjoy it. So anyway, thank you for being here. We got some good stories for this pre-show, including the headline story. Donald Trump's idea, just crazy enough to work? It's stupid. It's really stupid. But I think he might be onto something. So we'll get to that in just a little bit. Why don't we start off with a little bit of good news? Hey, so one of the good things about Biden getting in is anything not having to do with the Senate, because that's a lot easier to get things done. Doesn't mean he will, but for instance, government agencies are now, at least in theory, staffed and led by people who fundamentally agree with something like their mission statement. So for instance, the EPA, new release from Michael Regan, who is the new administrator, said there is going to be new regulations on hydrofluorocarbons. So these are used very commonly in America and a number of other countries. Replacements for previously you had the HFCs. So far they've been unregulated. They were back in the 80s. They replaced things that were even worse hypothetically for the environment in a very specific way. These are not bad in that way, but are really bad in terms of climate change. They're used in a lot of refrigerant systems and stuff like that, both consumer and industry. So anyway, they're going to be regulating them. And the idea is that over the next 15 years, they're going to reduce the production and implementation of them in these products by 85%, which is important. That is something that the EPA can do. They say, by the way, that close to $300 billion in health and environmental benefits will be realized as a result of this regulation change by the middle of the century. So that is good news. It is something that environmental groups have been pushing for. It is something that I sort of stupidly, I thought that they had started that process under Obama for HFCs, but I guess I was wrong. They didn't, and certainly nothing was done in that area under Trump. So they're going to be trying to do it over the next 15 years. So that's fun. Slow pace there. We're not in any kind of hurry. I get it. It's there's a lot of technologies that use them that have to be, they have to come up with replacements for all that. No, it's not an Angry Joe shirt behind me. But thank you, Tony Forster. This is that's a jersey that was sent to me by a fan. So a little bit of good news for the environment, not to the scale of what we need, unfortunately, but Richard Rowe for Congress says, Morning, John. You hear about the FL bill that's going to fine Facebook, Twitter $250,000 a day for deplatforming politicians? Personally, I'm thrilled since I'm suspended in both right now. Thoughts? Yeah, I don't know that is legal. I guess in theory it could be legal. I don't think it's constitutional. I would assume you can't do that. That is definitely philosophically against anything that they say that they're in support for. So you have to provide a platform to these people we say, or else we will damage your business. That they don't support that for anything. Okay, so can California pass a bill that Alex Jones has to give me a 20-minute segment on every show? And if you don't, then you're deplatforming me. So we find the Alex Jones Network, $250,000 a day. They don't actually support this. Or more realistically, they don't actually have any values. But I don't see how this could possibly survive. I also don't know how much Twitter would care about $250,000 a day in fines, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that. Dragon Squad First Class says, did you get your birthday art? So no new deliveries, but I will be on the lookout this week. Thank you. Netikin says, tomorrow I'll get my second dose of Pfizer. Wish my luck, y'all. I hear this one takes the arm out for days. I have heard that can happen, but it really does seem to depend on the person, so hopefully not for you. We did pass 1,000 likes, so thank you for that. So you know what? I guess I will give you some more news, I suppose. Here's a little throwback. Here's one of our pandemic throwbacks. So, back on, I believe it was April 10th of last year, Candace Owens tweeted this. 2 weeks ago, I told you all that India was the country to watch as millions of their workers were stranded along the railroad. No means of social distancing. India has just 169 deaths. Reported its first case in January. But it's 10 times more deadly than the flu, bro. So her point there is, oh, yeah, COVID's really bad. Well, then how come it's not devastating India? So, first of all, India then, India now, does not have incredibly accurate numbers. They're definitely 100% undercounts. They were in the early days. Here's an idea. They literally didn't have much at all testing capacity. How were they supposed to have confirmed cases? So it was stupid then, and now it looks really dumb because they're losing a lot of people every day. We're going to be talking about some of the numbers on the full show. So her confidence in sort of using the example of India to mockingly imply that the pandemic wasn't bad, that we don't have to take it seriously, is still up on her account. It is an opportunity, as conservatives are presented with so many times every day, to learn, to grow, to evolve, to be less pointlessly cocky. I'm being stupid there, pointlessly. She got tons of retweets on that. And I doubt many of the people that retweeted that on April of last year are like, oh my God, she was really wrong. India's being devastated, and my heart breaks for the lives that are being lost. No, that's not happening. That's not happening at all. It should. But she's not going to get retweets off of now tweeting, man, last year I had a terrible take. And, you know, I'm gonna try to do better in the future. And in the short term, I'm going to try to raise money to help people in India who are suffering. And seeing the suffering in India, it reminds me of how bad this disease really is. I was being honest last year when I said I didn't think it was that bad, but I was wrong. And a lot of people are dying in India. Still, many people, like close to 700 people, are dying every day in America. And I want that number to be as low as possible. So everyone, please take this seriously. Please wear masks. Please use the vaccine. Now. Now. That ain't gonna happen. You don't get $50,000 a speech for that sort of like self-analytical work right there. Trying to be a better person. No, you make the country worse, you make your viewers worse. That's what you do. Love these throwbacks. Beyblade fan says, I'm glad I have Marvel blocked on Twitter. You retweeted the BW movie trailer earlier, and I've gone in blind for every MCU film since AOU. Trailers give away too much, man. Never again. I don't think so. Look, I do agree. If you want to say that generally these days trailers give away far too much information, I definitely agree. There's been some great analysis actually of why trailers have started to give away so much of movies. It has to do with really risk-averse viewers. We like being surprised perhaps, but lots of people want to know exactly what sort of experience they're going to get when they go to pay their $20 a ticket. That said, I don't think that MCU trailers are very much like that. It showed a couple of action scenes or whatever, so you have a basic idea of some of the places they're going to go, but I don't even really know who the villain is in that movie, let alone how it's going to work. I know that Florence Pugh is in it. I don't know exactly what the relationship is going to be like. But that said, I apologize if I've spoiled anything for you, but I'm going to continue to talk about Marvel on Twitter, as I did this morning, by the way. Moondragon says, fully vaxxed, baby, and happy birthday, Dragon Daddy. It's not my birthday, but thank you. and I'm glad that you're vaxxed. I have not seen Invincible yet. I apologize. I have not had much time to watch TV. I haven't gotten to watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier behind the scenes. I haven't gotten to watch even one episode of Handmaid's Tale. I've been doing some DIY stuff, trying to occasionally work out, and I've been writing my Animal Fantasy, which I'm hoping to do even more of soon. In less than a week, my shed arrives, so I have to do a lot of work to get ready for that, to set up my writing sanctuary. Anyway, Red Lantern says, Omega Shenron Dragon here. Alex Jones needs to stop being the bigoted cousin of J. Jonah Jameson. Candace and her snake face could have a seat for eternity. It's funny. Rob Shively says, did you get the haunted cursed monkey paw I sent? I am 95% sure Rob is joking. Anyway, thank you in advance for the shriveled paw. I will choose my wishes carefully, Rob. Daniel Velasquez says, Disney is not part of the bill in Florida because of their theme park, so Twitter just needs to open a park. Interesting. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, so Disney did receive, it was not going to be one of the ones that a banning is. But what platform are they deplatforming? Anyway, I don't necessarily know. Leah and Leg, thank you for your super chat. Appreciate that. Amy says, I usually work from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m., but I finally got the day off to watch this live for the first time in weeks. I hope you've had a good morning. I have, actually, and thank you for being here. I woke up early, I got to the gym, drank some juice, getting ready for the show, feel like it's going to be fun. About that shed, anyone see Common Room? Wait, what happened on Common Room about sheds? Were they talking about my shed? I mean, I know that Brett helped me in doing some of the work to test how level the ground is. Was he talking about my shed? I do need to see the Nevers. A lot of recent fantasy shows on HBO and Netflix I've found to be fairly disappointing. Unfortunately, as a big fan of the genre throughout my life. Okay, I don't think anybody knows exactly what's going on with the shed. But if they're talking about me, you let me know. Oh, by the way, everyone, so today is Monday. So Francesca's not only going to be joining me on the show, we're also going to be doing our Monday top 10 list for Tier 2 and Tier 3 members. And this week, she did come up with one. Brett confesses mission life is to be John better. You bought an outhouse. That's funny. Well, maybe. Anyway, she came up with one. So we're going to be doing, this is a political one. This is top 10 places we don't want our tax money going to. So there's a big budget, a lot of money gets thrown into it. There are some areas that we would very much like to be able to do line item, single person vetoes. And we'll be breaking those down. If you have places you don't want your tax money going to, please post it below. I'm trying to see if anyone has a message about the shed. Damn you all. It's a she shed for sure. That's funny. Where do the gifted subs go? As far as I know, on YouTube, there is no service for doing gifted subs yet. It's actually, I gotta keep it real. It's one of the things that makes me, in some ways, like Twitch more in terms of community building. It's so nice to be able to do that on Twitch. I don't know why YouTube hasn't come up with it yet. Okay, let's see. Zane says he talked about how you make human leather and shed. Jesus! Okay, and my shirt says Anti-Vaxxer Club. I believe available at Shop TYT. If not, it will be soon. Anyway, how much time do we have, by the way? Okay, so we have a few minutes. Let's see. This is real quick. Marjorie Greene, who is legit one of the worst people, and I'm just going to say this. She's going to be involved in some sort of violent plot against the politician or whatever. I guess she already has been. Anyway, she tweeted, Democrat policies are destructive and hashtag America last. Dem shutdowns killed hundreds of thousands of small businesses. Dem open borders grow cardinal business to 400 million per month. And Democrat-funded BLM Antifa riots have cost billions in damage. Democrats are the enemy within. So, you know, obviously we're a country that has a problem of political violence. That's become increasingly clear. Trump used to get a lot of criticism, including from us, for labeling the media people's enemy. So now it's just the Democrats. Oh, and by the way, maybe voters, but here very much talking about the politicians that supposedly have funded BLM riots. So yeah, they're the enemy within. What do you do to the enemy within? It's probably peaceful stuff. It's probably what you do. You probably just do nice stuff, talk to them or whatever. Anyway, in response to that, Ruben Gallego, former Marine in Iraq actually, and now Democrat rep, says, I was trying to figure out what type of pen to stab your friends with if they overran us on the floor of the House of Representatives while trying to conduct a democratic transition of power. So please shut your seditious QAnon-loving mouth when it comes to who loves America. Damn. I mean, look, I'm only responding specifically to that tweet, but that's pretty strong. That's not bad. And I can't imagine what it must have been like for this former Marine to be thinking, how am I going to defend myself and those around me when these insane fascists overrun the room, trying to kill Mike Pence or Nancy Pelosi or whatever. Anyway, you know what? I got this thing about Tucker Carlson. No. I'm having a hard time wanting to talk about him lately. Still going to. Still important. And Sean Hannity's spreading anti-vax bullshit. We don't have time. It's absolute nonsense. I'll reference it. We have a story we're going to be doing on the full damage report where we will talk about conservative anti-vax BS. Oh, by the way, did everyone see John Oliver this week? I swear to God, I could tell you basically in any given week, the day before his show, what they're going to talk about. My belief was going to be that the episode was going to be a quick focus on what's happening in India and then something about vaccination. It turns out they didn't really do the normal format. They just combined those two things, basically, into one big thing. I really like that show. Anyway, okay, so let me catch up on comments, and then I'll give you the big story for the morning, or at least the title story. I don't know how big it is. Anyway, Zane says it wasn't Common Room, it was Makeup Happy Half Hour. Okay, I'm going to have to watch. Margarine taco grease, that's pretty funny. Greg Jones says, warning, 2 full months after receiving my second dose of Pfizer vaccine, I've started having severe side effects. I've become an a-hole to anti-vaxxers. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's like I would point out on Last Week Tonight, there was this old woman that experienced the side effect of becoming a boss-ass bitch, as she put it. Yeah, it's different for every person. I mean, of course it is. It's modifying our DNA. Bejon says, got my J&J shot in December as a study participant through the VA, officially claiming Lab Rat Dragon. I love that name. I love that name. And we are vaccine brothers, actually. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let me give you... Wait, I saw a comment. John Oliver's your spirit animal. No, John Oliver is what I and my show would be if we had 10 times as much money and I had twice as much talent. That's basically what it would be. And if we didn't have to do the Daily Show. Anyway, okay, so Donald Trump. We do have one bit of video we're going to show you on the show today just because... Schadenfreude. Anyway, Donald Trump has... Doing on pre-show, so I have to listen to it. But you're on the pre-show. You're on the pre-show right now, and I'm not talking about it. Anyway, so Donald Trump has a bit of a problem. I don't know how serious it is because he can bounce back from most of these things, but one of the problems is he, for his own psychology, and perhaps to motivate his base, has to have them believing that the election was stolen from him. And that him winning another election isn't just an epic return, but it's justice for the theft against them. The issue is that there's no evidence to back it up, and it looks really pathetic and cringy. So, some Republicans even, not Republicans that I would say have much influence over their party, have talked recently about the big lie, about how the election was supposedly stolen and all of that. And that being out there is damaging to him. Maybe not that much, but it's sort of like fake news, for instance. Fake news was this thing that was these purposefully made up stories that were fed out there for all sorts of people, by the way. There was very much this stuff for centrists and leftists as well. That was a thing, that remains a thing, but it was like 90% for conservatives. Just total BS made up so that they'd share, and then the people who made them would make money. That was a problem. It was a problem that our society needed to deal with. So what happened? Well, Trump took it. Fake news. The idea of fake news, and he made it into something else that would benefit him. So if his fans were being, like, having to come up against this discussion about fake news and what needs to be done about it, that might cause them a brief bit of mental uncomfortableness. Wait, there's this big problem? Wait, was I sharing that? No, you can't have that. So fake news became news, just news, criticism of him, whatever. He started calling fake news. So he co-opted the term and made it effectively meaningless. And now we can't have a discussion about any of this because everything has been poisoned. So the big lie is his now 6-month-long campaign to get people to believe the election was stolen despite any lack of any evidence there. His court cases have all failed. The insurrection failed. The senators trying to overturn the election failed. All of them failed. And it looks really bad for him. So then insert this newest statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. It's a short one for him. He said this: "The fraudulent presidential election of 2020 will be, from this day forth, known as the big lie." That's the whole thing. And honestly, kind of genius. Super evil. Evil and condescending towards his supporters, demonstrative of a complete lack of interest in anything that's true. It reflects so badly on himself and his followers. More importantly, I would say, his view of his followers. So to do this thing, to try to turn, to take the term and apply it to the exact opposite of what it is, and believe that that works and that that should work, shows that he doesn't give a fuck about his followers. They are at best pawns. It's too much respect to say pawns, because pawns have a use. But is it not clever? It's like I saw on over the weekend, some guest on Fox said, making women wear masks is like making them wear the burqa. And I thought, that's dumb as shit. But why didn't you guys use this all along? The idea that Joe Biden is trying to make conservative women Muslims does seem perfect for the Fox News audience. And this too. Yeah, just take whatever term and just apply it. Like for instance, when we started to be worried about collusion between, basically everyone on the Trump campaign and a variety of Russian officials and all that, they just started using the word collusion for everything. They want the word to have no meaning. They're not the only ones. I've seen this in a lot of ways, in a lot of different areas, all across the spectrum. It's just most commonly on the right. I mean, cancel culture, meaningless now. Woke, meaningless. Neoliberal, meaningless. People use these terms for whatever they want. Whether it's intentionally to rob them of their meaning, who knows? Irresponsible people will be irresponsible. But this is a very conscious one. So when you hear the big lie, and you see Republican politicians pushing back against it, well, I don't know. Now the big lie is just the election. It's very devious. It has a sort of low animal cunning to Donald Trump for coming up with it. Does not bode well for American democracy, but that is not chief on his list of concerns. Okay, let's see. We are going to close this thing out. I'm seeing clocks. I get anxiety now when I see clocks, thanks to you people. Anyway, Amy, thank you for your fox hugging the heart. Appreciate that. I appreciate anyone who prefers TDR to John Oliver. It's obviously a very different sort of thing. And not both in terms of format and production, but also in terms of ideology and values and all that. I will say though, I do think while some of my solutions to these problems probably go quite a bit further than what John Oliver would advocate for, that's not necessarily as true as you might think. I do think he's fairly progressive. And in terms of topic selection, his willingness to focus on things that are not in the political zeitgeist yet, I believe he is better than anyone else. He very rarely, it's a jokey show, but he uses his time very well, and I wish that more people would watch it. Anyway, he gets a million awards. He's doing just fine. Anyway, the Dayman says, I think you're at least as talented as the other John, but that British accent, I don't know how you allowed to do that. It's true. That's funny. Anywho, it looks like we are close to the end here. Angela says Trump is evil. I have not heard that name for him. Arbaxel says, hey, John, thanks for showing us the damage day after day. And for an atheist, you preach the gospel better than any of these fame-hungry hypocrites. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm seeing some helos in the chat. Insane Sanity Dragon says, I sleep better knowing that Trump will reach his end similar to Hitler, disgraced, dethroned, and alone. For the most part, well, actually, tune into the full show because we got perhaps a little preview of that. But anyway, I do have to go. Wait, hold on 1 second. I saw. John Oliver is indeed better than anyone else in terms of pointing out issues and insanity that are passing without sufficient comment. Exactly. Okay, everyone, thank you for your clocks. Back off the clocks, everyone. But anyway, I'm going to go get ready. Francesca's going to be there, so whether you stay here or head to twitch.tv/TYT, I look forward to seeing you soon.